2, 1.
Oh, look, there's a mouse on top of this thing. I'll break it. All right, it is 6 o'clock. Meeting is now in order. We have the establishment of quorum, please.
Good afternoon. Item number 2, establishment of quorum. Jesus Ruiz,
Here.
Miriam Cruz,
Present.
David Oropesa,
Here.
Ben Arras, absent. Jesus Miguel Chaires, absent. Albert Lagunas.
Here.
We have a quorum with 4 members present. Item number 3, excuse absent commissioners' members.
I would like to ask, before I make a motion, if they provided, did they respond to you all why they would be absent?
No.
Okay. Then I will make a motion to not excuse absent members.
Second.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz to not excuse, second by Jesus Ruiz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstains? Motion carried. Item number 4, reading of the Board of Adjustment statement. Mr. Ruiz, could you please read the statement?
Yes. The Zoning Board of Adjustment of the City of Socorro is now in session. This board is established under Article 211.008 of the Texas Local Government Code and Chapter 2, Division 5 of the Code. In appropriate cases and subject to appropriate conditions and safeguards, this board is empowered to make special exceptions or grant variances to the terms of the zoning ordinance that are consistent with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance and in accordance with any applicable rules contained in the ordinance, and to hear appeals that allege an error on an order, requirement, decision, or determination made by an administrative official in the enforcement of the code. Your application or appeal will be decided only after you have had the opportunity to present evidence before the board for its consideration. Other parties interested in your case may also be heard at this time. No consultation among board members has been held in advance regarding your case. This board does not act in an arbitrary manner. You may be sure full consideration will be given to your case, and following this hearing, you will be promptly notified of the board's decision.
Item number 5, swearing in of person giving testimony. Mr. Ruiz.
Anybody that is giving testimony today or presenting evidence on any of the agenda items, may you please rise and raise your right hand. Everybody can speak English. You prefer English, Spanish? See? Okay. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the approval of meeting minutes of October 5th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz to approve and second by Jesus Ruiz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstains? Motion carried. Item number 7, consider and take action on the variance request from Muni Code Chapter 46-238, subsection 2, related to allow a residential addition with a reduced rear yard setback 5 feet 2 inches instead of the required 25 feet 0 inches rear yard setback on 490 El Salto Drive, Socorro, Texas 79927. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. Jose Botello, planner with the City of Socorro. Item number 7 on the agenda is the 490 El Salto Drive variance request. And so for the subject, today it is to consider and take action on the variance request from the Municipal Code, Chapter 46-238, subsection 2, to allow a residential addition with a reduced rear yard setback to 5 feet 2 inches instead of the required 25-foot rear yard setback. And so some information on this case. The property owners which are present, Mr. Adolfo and Ms. Terry Esparza. The current zoning of the property is R1, single family residential. The lot size is 10,319 square feet. The address, once again, is 490 El Salto Drive. So the summary is the request for a variance from the required rear yard setback. The code requires 25 feet to be respected, and the request is to allow a residential addition to encroach the rear yard setback by roughly 15 feet 2 inches. And so staff recommends approval of the variance request to allow a residential addition with a reduced rear yard setback, of 5 feet 2 inches instead of the required 25 feet rear yard setback. The alternative would be to deny the variance request. And so moving forward in the presentation, you'll see the application that was submitted by the applicants. Mr. and Mrs. Esparza did provide a letter stating the reasons for the request of the variance request. If you want to take a moment to read through it. There's also, on the next slide, you'll see the zoning map showing the yellow area, which denotes the R1 zoning designation, followed by the aerial image of the property. And then followed by a few pictures of the property. The top picture was taken from El Salto Drive. And we'll probably refer back to these. The bottom picture was taken from Fuente Street. And so this is the, on the next slide, you'll see the site plan that was submitted. Fuente Street is at the bottom, El Salto is on the right side. And this is the floor plan that was submitted for the addition that they are requesting the variance for. It's for a sunroom. And so the summary of the request is for a variance to the Municipal Code, Chapter 46-238, subsection 2, to allow a residential addition with a reduced rear yard setback to 5 feet 2 instead of the required 25-foot rear yard setback. And at this time, staff can answer any questions.
I don't have questions. I mean, if I don't personally, but you recommend approval?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have questions for Ms. Botella?
I do. Thanks. Just to confirm, this isn't built yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so they are coming to us beforehand. And regarding the floor plan, were there any issues that you all saw with it?
No, they do comply with the requirements, which is to have a door and windows for egress. So it's fully compliant. The only thing is that it encroaches the rear yard setback, so that's why they decided to proceed with the variance request.
And would it be safe to assume that maybe one of the reasons why you all are recommending approval is because there are no neighbors? It would sort of affect the street side of, I guess, the residents?
It would be more for safety reasons. They are providing 5 feet from the property line, so in case, there's any emergency services, there's a 5-foot corridor that would allow them to enter the property. I think that's adequate space for any sort of emergency service. So, we recommend approval based on that fact.
And from the line of the property to the street, do you know how much space that is?
For on the side on Fuente Street?
Well, no, I guess we're on the side of where it says where the proposed room is.
Behind it, yeah.
Oh, I guess it's behind, so there is a neighbor in the back. Right? I thought it was, for whatever reason, I was thinking it was on the side.
Yes, on the aerial image, you can see that there's
Yeah, and the other one.
a neighbor to the side.
And I guess, were they given any notice of this meeting or this request?
I don't believe, no, there was a notice.
None's required, or?
No.
Okay. And can I just ask the applicants if they know that neighbor, and if you guys know, if you guys told them about it? Just curious.
If you can just stand up, ma'am, and come to the microphone, that way you can be heard on the meeting. And it'll be safe for eternity.
The neighbor that was there, they moved out and they're renting their house right now. So we don't know the new neighbors because they're renting right now. I never thought about asking. I just thought we'd go ahead and do the planning.
Could you just identify yourself, ma'am?
Terry Esparza,
Are you the homeowner?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do appreciate the letter in the packet. One last question is, do you know those distance between that back door, that back neighbor and the property line? How much distance there is between the actual residents?
I do not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there a fence separating the two houses? Yeah, right, like, looks like there's a fence right by that tree. Is there a fence in the backyard, ma'am? Right, so it would be, yeah.
There's a
we
chain
don't
link
think-
fence.
5 feet?
Our back door, it faces, it goes out to the fence, and then our neighbors is the driveway, and their back door is further down inside the driveway. So there's like a yard.
Yeah, I
Front
can see
yard.
that here. I was just trying to, I guess, gauge the distance.
It would be too close, I guess, right?
Yeah, just to see how much distance will be from one building to the other, is really what I'm trying to get at. I know Mr. Terrazas used to bring up some sort of map where he would be able to do that sort of measuring in the planning and zoning meetings. Do you know if you have that
So I
capacity right
looked it
now?
up and measured, and it looks like it's a shadow, so, I'd say it's 20 feet, but that doesn't account for maybe any overhang,
Right,
but it looks like it's 20 feet.
okay. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? I make a motion to approve with the staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve, second by Miriam Cruz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstains? Motion carried. Item number 8, consider and take action on the variance request from the Muni Code to allow an accessory structure in the front yard setback and allow the accessory structure with a reduced front yard setback of 13 feet 6 inches instead of the required 35 feet 0 inches, rear yard setback and reduced side yard setback of 8 feet 0 inches instead of the required 15 feet 0 inches, side yard setback on 10646 Horn Circle, Socorro, Texas 79927. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. Jose Botello, planner with the city of Socorro. Item number 8 on the agenda is variance request for 10646 Horn Circle. And so the subject for this item is to consider and take action on the variance requested from the Muni Code to allow an accessory structure in the front yard setback and to allow the accessory structure with a reduced front yard setback of 13 feet 6 inches instead of the required 35 feet rear yard setback, and a reduced side yard setback of 8 feet instead of the required 15-foot side yard setback. So some information on this, the property owners and the property. The property owner is Ms. Claudia M. Garcia. The zoning designation for the property is A1, which is agricultural. The size of the lot is .851 acres. The address is 10646 Horn Circle. And for the summary, the applicant is requesting, once again, a variance from the required front and side yard setbacks. The requirements for an A1 zoning district are 35 feet for the front yard setback and 15 feet for the side yard setbacks. The request is to allow an accessory dwelling to encroach the front yard setback by 21 foot 6, and the side yard by 7 feet. And so the little background on this, the accessory structure was built on an existing concrete slab that's toward the front of the property. And so the statement on the issue is the permits for this accessory structure were not acquired prior to the start of the construction. And number two, the accessory buildings shall only be allowed in the rear or side of the principal structure as stated in section 46-623 accessory buildings in the municipal code. And so staff recommends denial of the variance request due to the following. Number one, permits for the accessory structure were not acquired prior to the start of construction. And number two, the accessory building shall only be allowed in the rear or side of the principal structure. And the alternative is to approve the variance request with the condition that the owner, they don't have to plat the property, but I'm sorry for that, but pay the fees at 200%, which is in compliance with section 6-187, homeowner starting work without a permit in a residential area.
Just want to make sure on this one, like last time, there's 4 of us, so it has to be unanimous, right? So whatever, and last time we tried both, right? We tried like the staff's recommendation, and it wasn't unanimous, and we tried the alternative, and it wasn't unanimous, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I looked through the minutes that were attached to this agenda, because it goes through, I think it went through at least 3 or 4 different motions, yeah.
So if we go through that same route again, and if we don't get a unanimous vote, does it come back again, or is it after this one? Just make sure.
So it doesn't come back. So you need to authorize the variances, you need to have 4 yeses in favor of it. And if you don't have it, it's up to the chairperson on how many times you want to bring up, if there's any other motions after you call a motion. But if it's not approved and the meeting ends, then it's denied and that's it. And it's, the effect of that then is that it's not in compliance, basically an illegal structure, then it has to be removed. So it bounces back to, they get cited for it, it goes to municipal court, and then goes through a process again of
Okay.
through the cities.
I know we've been through this one like a bunch of times already, right? And it keeps coming back. Has anything, I know the recommendations seem to be the same, right? Both the staff's and the alternative. Has anything changed since last time that we met that we should be aware of? Or is everything pretty much as is?
Everything is pretty much as is. You know, we've met with the applicants, and you know, we've tried to discuss alternative options, what we recommend, and in the alternative, you know, approach to approve with the, you know, the double the fee. Those were discussed, so it's pretty much the same case that was presented previously. There was a few adjustments in the presentation, but it's pretty much the same information.
But they got the permits and everything already, right?
Did they get the permits? That's what Mr. Lagunas is asking.
Last time?
What, like since last time, like that hasn't changed, right?
My name is Claudia Garcia. I think the last time you were wondering about the side property, and I told you it was my parents, and you wanted a letter of support. Do you remember, Ms. Cruz?
See,
Yeah, I
'cause
remember.
Okay, so I have the letters for you.
Sure, if you want to pass them out. Do you know what permit she was talking about that was approved?
Yeah, it was a requirement for them to provide the permits with an affidavit or sealed drawings from,
Oh, that's right.
you know, to
But
ensure
it
that.
wasn't a thing from us that got approved.
No.
Right,
No, it was just a format of the,
not from us, from y'all. I meant, you know, Socorro City staff.
Correct.
Okay.
It may help too, for everybody's benefit, if somebody can also just read the letter, if it's a brief one.
Oh, it's very brief. Do you want to read it into the microphone? There you go. I will also say that we do have different members here at this meeting from the last one different one, yeah,
That's all.
so.
Okay, it says, "Dear Board of Adjustments, we write this letter in support of our daughter, Claudia Garcia, that the property at 10612 Horn Circle, next to her property, is indeed ours, and we have no plans to sell. We understand that she is trying to get approval for variance, and we want to state that we have no issue with the placement of where the shed stands at this time. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, 915-740-2782. Sincerely signed by both Yolanda Rodriguez and Amado Rodriguez."
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion? I mean, at this point, it's either we're gonna approve either the staff's or the alternative.
Approve it.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'm sorry, which one?
We're gonna approve it. I wanna approve it because, they've been here for quite a bit, coming back and forth, and it's not affecting nobody. This little storage shed, it's not affecting nobody. So, and they put a lot of money into it already.
I wasn't questioning you, I'm sorry. I didn't know which one you were approving, was the
You
staff
wanna go with the
recommendation or
s-
the alternative?
Done a little storage shed.
Okay.
So go with the staff's alternative recommendation of approve it with the
Yeah.
200% fees?
As long as they got the permits and all that, now they paid, they already got too much money into it. And they've
Okay.
been back and forth, let them keep.
Was this something we asked them to bring?
Yes.
I didn't,
Mayor?
I mentioned I asked if they had a letter. And then I also remember saying that even if they were to bring a letter, that a future owner of that property, right, like any other future property owner, because, I mean, no offense, but no one, I mean, none of us live forever, right? So, I mean, the property's gonna go to someone else. And so, that they may not be okay with it. And so they would be potentially affected down the road. And that's usually, my point of view is looking not just at the right now, but looking at future owners, future city, progress. And so I asked about a letter, but but I also said everything I just said right now, so,
Her concern was what happens in the future if the property changes hands and we allow this now and then things of that nature, so.
I think just to add to that particular question, there's one way to at least fix only one variance issue, which is the side setback issue. Was that if both properties were combined into one, and you do like a replat, then it's one bigger property, and then it meets the side setback, but in this case, it's just your mother?
It's my parents, yes.
Parents, yeah, so they're not objecting, but that, in the future, to address that issue, that's how you would take care of it. But that involves doing a replat, going through that process
In
too.
the future, they purchase that property.
Right.
can you just say that into the microphone so that, because I don't.
Just that in the future, if they purchase that property, it wouldn't, that's another way to look at a future possibility. But if
Right.
it were a future buyer and they were aware of it because they can see it, it exists, they would be aware of it. It wouldn't be something that would be sprung on them. Any potential future buyer.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second, sorry.
I have a motion made by Albert Lagunas to approve the alternate decision, second by David Oropesa. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any of,
Abstaining.
motion failed.
Okay, is that it then, or?
Yeah, as a chairperson, you can call, at your own request, I guess, if you want to entertain any other motions, and if you don't, you move on to the next item.
So just to make sure the vote was 3-0 abstain.
3-0 abstain,
Right.
which still fails because you need 4 to approve a variance.
Okay. I don't think that will change if we call it again. But I'll just do it just for the sake of doing it a second time. So I'll make a motion to approve the staff's alternative recommendation.
Second?
Aye. Second.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve the alternative recommendation, second by David Oropesa. All those in favor of the motion?
I am sorry, I have to ask now a question because I'm confused. It is the exact same motion?
Yes.
Because, oh,
So, yeah. That's what Marilyn was saying, that we can bring it back again, and like, this will be the last time.
okay. No, I was just wondering because maybe I thought that the first motion was to approve, but just to approve, not necessarily with all of the staff recommendations, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, my motion is to approve it with basically to approve the staff's alternative recommendation, which is to approve it and then have them plat it and then have it pay the 200% fees. So that's my motion. There's drama now.
I remember last meeting, there was some talk about the side variance maybe not being an issue, but the front, maybe having sort of a fix, if you will. Do you remember that discussion? And I guess currently, do we know the space between the front property line to the front of the building?
Excuse me.
So the thing is that technically, we're still in the middle
Oh.
of vote.
Sure.
But there was a question on the clarification, I think at least on the recommendation, I think. So I'll just ask staff very quickly, what was the staff's recommendation on the alternative? Was it for what is it, a replat? or a plat?
It's not on the staff report.
Ortega.
I'm not sure where, up on
It
the,
was on the,
yeah. No, I would not make that a requirement.
was a
Oh,
plat
okay.
required on
Well,
the
could we
alternative?
just do the staff's recommendation, like whatever that?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
No,
the
that was
motion
a-
to approve
that
the
was an
staff's
error on
alternative
the-
recommendation.
Okay,
That's an error on the.
so the written one
presentation.
on with the agenda is what, yeah, that alternative. Okay.
So then my motion is just to accept the alternative recommendation of staff as written.
So there's two written ones. That alternative up on the screen is different from the one we have on our papers.
The one that I'll read it out loud. Says-
So it would be the one on the agenda.
So I'll make the motion to approve the staff's alternative recommendation, which reads, the alternative is to approve the variances requested with the conditions that the owner pay the permit fees at 200% in accordance with section 6-187. And that's my
And-
motion.
I second it.
All those, I have a motion made by Jesus Reese to approve with the alternative, staff recommendation, second by, David Opesa. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays?
I'm abstaining.
Motion failed.
Okay, so then that'll be the last.
So you can do the next item if you.
Okay, so let's move on to the next item.
Thank you. Item number 9, consider and take action on the election of officers for Board of Adjustment Commission. Ms. Lurie? Mr. Bote?
Would the chairman or any of the members propose making any changes to the leadership of the commission, the chair, vice chair?
Is it time to elect new members?
From the bylaws, I understand it's done annually?
Yes.
Yeah, it would
so-
be annually.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I'd like to make a motion to recommend Ms. Miriam Cruz to be the chair since she's the vice chair currently, and Mr. Lagunas to be the vice chair. That's my motion.
You just want a break.
Is there any seconds on that, I guess?
Sorry, second it.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
But
Any
that,
nay?
sorry.
Any nays? Anyone abstain? Motion carried.
We can just start next meeting, right?
Item number 10, consider and take action on the bylaws of the Board of Adjustment Commission. Ms. Lorraine?
Thank you, Marion. The bylaws were approved at the beginning of, maybe February, March. The option is there to make any adjustments or changes. You do not have to make that vote now. If you want to recommend some changes, we can take a look at the bylaws and bring that up at a future meeting.
I mean, I don't think we've had any issues with the bylaws that we've had, so motion to just accept as is, I don't know.
Yes? Or no action?
I guess I would maybe just table it to give us a,
You're the vice chair now, Mr. Lagunas, that's what's going on.
There's some changes
Yeah,
that you
but,
could recommend.
can she take it instead of me?
Oh, she's gonna be the chair,
She's gonna be the chair.
you'll be the vice
So
chair.
she'll be right here,
Yeah.
or over there, doesn't matter.
No.
But you'll
and
be
if I'm absent, which I shouldn't be, then you would.
Then you would be.
No, I have it on my work calendar. I said, I can't miss this meeting, so don't worry.
Yeah, because I go, what?
I guess it could happen, but I would just suggest maybe just tabling it, just to give us an opportunity for the next meeting. If we wanted to bring some changes, we could talk about them.
Sure, I mean, I don't mind either way, I don't think,
Or do we have to have, no, we already have bylaws in place, so.
Yeah, you've got, I
Yeah,
mean, they
we
stay in
already have
place
them.
until they're kind of changed, but,
Right, okay.
yeah.
you could move to table till next meeting.
Well, we have a motion, we need a second first.
I second that.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz to,
So the first
which
motion
was
was
to
Mr. Ruiz's motion to approve them.
Mhm.
And
So were you
then-
seconding my motion or Miriam's?
I had already seconded his.
Okay, so we're
Yeah,
good.
okay.
and then we need to vote on that one.
Second all of them, why not?
Second.
okay, so we would be doing the first motion to approve as is.
Unless we're withdrawing that motion.
I have a quick question though, if we table them, I mean, we can always make changes throughout the year, right?
That's right, yeah. You
So
can
there's
make it-
no, even if we table it, I mean, you can always just bring back a motion to go ahead and put it on the agenda or
Yeah, you
whatever,
can
so-
put it on agenda, bring it back. It just usually has a requirement on how many
The
it
1
takes to
year.
overturn the bylaws, but I think it's usually like 2/3, something like that.
Okay, I mean, I'll just still keep my motion to approve it as is.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve to keep as is. Second by Mr. David Oropesa. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any
Oh,
abstain?
shoot. Oops.
Motion failed.
We still need 4 members?
For that, sorry. I was reading.
How many did we have on this one?
3. Isn't it a
Can we
simple
vote again?
majority?
Is it just the same?
Yeah, can we
I-
vote? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's just a majority
Yeah,
on this
not-
one, so
it's not a
this is not a
variance.
variance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a simple
We're good.
majority.
then we'd never be excused if we,
So motion carried. Item number 11, consider and take action on the 2024 meeting calendar.
make a motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Second. Give me a second.
sorry.
Sorry. Is there one month that we are skipping? I think we always skip December, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I believe that's true because it's so close to the holiday.
Yeah, council only gets like 1 meeting,
Uh-huh.
so we
And
get
then
like,
you also have the option in the bylaws for the chair to call for a special meeting
mhm.
if the need arises.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I had made a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve, second by David Oropesa. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 12, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move such motion.
Second.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz to approve, second by Jesus Ruiz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay. I'm just kidding.
Anyone abstain? Motion carried. The meeting adjourned at 6:35. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you can't leave